waiting with G-Paw out there, and the car is backing up, and she's like, "What?" And that apparently was just a false. Somebody in the neighborhood just needed to turn around. That's something I missed that doesn't happen. We'll hear people honk at you if you do it.
People turn around in driveways at home all the time.
All the time.
Someone's here. Oh, wait, they're just turning around.
It's like that time I was teaching my cousin Robbie how to drive, and he was underage, and we turned around in the driveway of a cop, and he pulled us over. Oh, he pulled us over. We ended up. He was an asshole. He was a power-hungry cop, like one of those horrible pieces of shit. Oh. Anyway, I feel like I've told you this before because he made me. We had to go to court.
Oh, yes, I remember this story.
But he didn't remember that the judge was Judge Charles Tate, who I was in Showboat.
He was in Showboat with the notorious all-white production of Showboat.
Well, he was the one actual white. Because he was supposed to be the rich, like, landowner or whatever.
Yes.
So he would sing, "We could make believe."
But Judge Tate knew who you were.
Knew who I was. And also, this cop was a horrible cop. And he had pulled over my speech teacher, Mrs. Kurtz, when she had gotten a car accident.
We can't get into the list of people.
She was in a car accident so bad, it took off half her jaw. And he's trying to write the ticket. And my speech teacher is holding her job, and she said, "Listen, you asshole, I don't give a fuck. Just give me the ticket later. I'm holding on to my motherfucking jaw." And I remember going to Branson and riding one of those, and it was I thought it was the coolest thing.
How old were you?
Well, it was after I won the talent show and sang Rocky Top. Then that was in 4th grade. So I think this was like in 5th grade because they were doing
Simple Pleasures.
Well, because the band started playing Rocky Top, and my mother, I don't know why, my mother wouldn't let me go audition for, like, I begged her to, like, take me to Dallas to audition for, like, child TV stuff. I wanted to be in commercials. She wouldn't do that, but yet on a riverboat in Branson, as soon as they started singing Rocky Top, my mother, like, hurled me upstairs, and then I started singing Rocky Top with the band. And I don't think they had prepared for that. I don't think they had.
Was there a microphone?
I did. I winged it right there and just sang the whole thing perfectly. And the rest of my dad and the rest, she didn't even tell the rest of my family because she's like, "Matt, get up there." And the rest of my family, they're sitting on this boat, and suddenly they hear, "Wish that I was down on Rocky Top." And they went, "Is that Matt?"
I've seen the video. There's a lot of microphone cable twirling.
Yes.
That went on.
Mm-hmm. And that's when, which I stopped doing when my cousin opened up for Reba McEntire later. And Reba McEntire told, my cousin said, "Oh, this is my cousin. He sings." My cousin Lolo was opening for Reba.
I'm aware. I'm aware.
And Reba looked at me and she said, "Baby, don't hold that microphone cord."
Thank you.
And I can't wait to tell Reba that story when I'm on that goddamn show.
Oh,
she is.
Yeah.
I love the way Electric Youth smelled. I wanted a bottle so bad. Couldn't have one. My best friend Sean, his sister Michelle had one, and I'd go in there and squirt it. I mean, when I was little, we have a home video of my brother playing basketball, and he's shooting a free throw, and you just hear off the corner, you hear, "Sink it, go, Bubba, make that free throw." And then I love to do the dances with the cheerleaders in the stands, like in the corner.
Goes, "God damn it, Matt, stop dancing."
God damn it, Matt, stop dancing like a fucking girl. God damn, son, you want some ice cream? Yeah, daddy, okay. And so my dad would do that. If he got on to me something about being gay, he then would immediately, like, go buy me dinner, give me food.
So buying your love.
He felt so bad. Or he'd give me quarters for an arcade. Anyway, because Taco Bueno had the arcade in it.
Sit with that.
Yeah.
We should move on. I think we bummed everyone out.
Anyway, we see a little bit with Michael Melody. He's teaching her how to drive.
Okay.
She's going to be 18.
Did this trigger you? Did your mother or father teach you how to drive?
No,
your father probably wasn't around.
Neither of them taught me how to drive. My grandpa taught me. My grandpa taught me how to drive.
So that was probably easy when you're.
Yeah, because remember, I was 16, and just like 6 months before, that's when my dad told my mom he was going to leave her, and my parents got divorced. My mom had an emotional breakdown, and I had to be her caregiver. And then my dad was living in that rental house on Easley, going to honky-tonky bars and drinking and trying to grow out a beard, sleeping with Brenda. So they were busy. So my grandpa taught me how to drive.
That pain is funny. May have been one of the single greatest things I've ever seen. And the people all around it, just like watching who they didn't know.
And they were there for 5 hours. So did they not let them dance for 5, or did they wait till everybody
I'm not sure.
I would have been pissed off if I wasn't.
I have lots of questions.
You know, my dad got into boot scoot boogie, and you know, he went through a period whenever it got really popular, like in the late '90s when I was in high school.
What is
I have a feeling your parents
scooting.
did not.
Boot
I don't
scooting.
see.
No, they were not line dancers.
No, that's what he said. Matthew, you going down to Billy Bob's? We're going to go boot scooting.
Yeah.
So they took he had the videos.
They were not involved in line dancing.
Oh no, they had the videos, and they would learn to do it. And it was very different, you know, because my dad, we grew up being very. I think because my mom's father was an alcoholic, so we grew up.
Slip that in there.
And my dad didn't really drink that much. My dad really didn't drink very little. We grew up as like, you don't hang out in bars as adults. Like, that's not something you do.
Wow.
And so then my dad started boot scooting with his second wife, Brenda, because she liked boot scooting. And she was little and petite, so they'd go out dancing. And they took all these classes, and they were really good. I think they almost did this competition. I don't feel like maybe I've told this before, but whatever, it's me. But they were doing pretty good because my dad was so big, you know, he was 6'2" and like 300 pounds. He'd pick Brenda up and he'd do the flip where he'd flip her over. And they were doing really well. Well, then one time he dropped her right on her head. Right in the middle of Billy Bob's in Fort Worth, which if you know, y'all, you know.
Yeah.
And Brenda said she wasn't ever going to dance again because she really hurt her head.
Never going to dance again.
Not the right.
Dropped me on my head in the middle of the Billy Bob's.
Billy Bob's. Well, what my dad ended up doing, he ended up getting her, he bought her
a helmet?
A helmet and put crystals all over it and bedazzled it.
Stop it.
Yeah, he did. Gave it to her for Christmas.
So you
also, we love capes. Gay people love capes, y'all.
Oh. Who did you like besides Superman and Wonder Woman?
I love Superman and Wonder Woman. I really loved, and now, which is interesting because I'm scared of birds, but I really liked Hawkman. I loved Hawk. You know what?
Oh, the ironing.
Speaking of, I remember I collected all the superhero things, and I wanted to keep them. And then when my parents got divorced, my mother said when she was moving out of
trauma,
when she was moving out of my childhood home, she called and said, "Matthew, do you want all this stuff?" And I was in school, and I just wanted to avoid her and my dad just splitting up and ruining the family. I said, "No, I don't want anything," and she threw away all my superhero toys.
Whoa!
So I don't have them anymore.
Wow!
That's it. And it's sad because speaking of Dale's Market, my mother looked this is before pre-internet, y'all. She had to go to all these stores to get me a Hawkman, and she tried to get me a Hawkman for Christmas, and then Christmas come and went, and I didn't have a Hawkman, and she said at Christmas, "Baby, I tried to get it, but I just couldn't find that anywhere." And she finally, around my birthday, say, "Honey, I want you to take this $10 bill and walk up to Dale and Lynn Cheney, who owned Dale's Market," because their house was right by Dale's Market. So they could just, walk to work. It was super simple.
Lord, how much longer is this story?
But anyway, and I walked up and I knocked on the door, and I said to Lynn, I said, "My mama said I need to give you $10 for something." And she said, "1 second, baby." And she came back. And she had Hawkman. They had been to Oklahoma City and found it and heard my mama talking about it.
Oh my goodness!
And and then my mom just threw it away when she moved out of our house.
So she bought your love one day, and then decided it wasn't worth it.
It wasn't worth it. But I think we need to move on before I start crying. Boy, I have never felt so seen in my life, because this is what happens when I go to a spook house. I'm just in the corner going,
And
Terrifying.
I'm trying not to punch people.
Someone's going to have to hold me up. I mean, I've told that story when I was in high school and I went to a spook house with my girlfriend.
And you kind of threw her out of the way.
It was
or
an
used
old
her body
house
as a
that
human
church
shield.
had redone, yeah. And they had the guy with the chainsaw, and I said, "Go, Lacey, go!" And I shoved her out, but I didn't know because the old house they didn't have steps, so it was like a 3-foot drop. So she just kind of fell, and I literally walked over, running and screaming out of the spook house.
Yeah, so it's good the phrase "women and children first" is kind of an outdated notion. Some people grew up with parents who let their children win in games. Not mine.
Not Poodle. No, we didn't. Shockingly, chess wasn't a big thing in Lone Grove.
It wasn't a big thing in South Carolina either. It was like a cousin taught us to play, and we were big with like checkers and chess. And my dad's really still good at checkers. And my oldest nephew beat him once, and it was like a huge deal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Y'all did a lot of games, though, in your house. We really didn't.
Cards.
My mom
what
got
would you
into
do? Just sit and look at each other?
I mean, my mom would get into Pictionary for a little bit. I remember we went through that phase but no.
But what would you do? Just sit and just stare at each other's faces?
I remember a lot of my childhood was a lot of entertaining myself.
But when you were at home together, like if you were at a family night at home,
my mom was reading or she was knitting, and my dad was usually always working late / having an affair. So he really didn't come home till like 9. And so my mom was cooking or cleaning or canning strawberries or whatever she canned vegetables.
Kind of entertaining herself.
She kind of so I think that's why I was a very imaginative kid and still have a very active because I did a lot on my own. I don't think I've ever now my mom's side of the family they would play dominoes. They play chicken foot. Yeah, and when
chicken foot.
Yeah, it's a game in dominoes.
Oh, okay, sure.
And it's not hard to explain. It looks like a chicken foot. But whenever that side of the family would come over, sometimes with my grandpa, like at my grandpa's house, we'd play dominoes. But you know what? Now that you say it, I don't think I ever remember one time my father sitting down to play a board game, except for maybe checkers with me when I was little.
Wow.
Really have a cohesive family unit when I was a child. Thanks for bringing that up.
I guess he worked first and didn't play later. Anymore.
No, you can sing. No, you can. She did a remake of it, but
that's a cover.
Still not. The original is Randy Travis.
Oh, fuck that. Then I'll sing it.
I sang that all the time as a little boy. Randy Travis was my sweet spot as a kid. I do. I mean, I'd get angry. Like I remember one time my dad was
singing names
and I said, "I'm mad at you, Daddy." And instead of going getting mad at him, it's like, "I'm really mad, Daddy." And my dad said, "Well, I'm gonna bust your ass if you don't get your shit together." And I went, "Huh?" And I ran to my room and I shut the door. And then you waited 2, 3. Suppose I called you up tonight, and I just sang along with it, and I just screamed, "I told you so." And my dad busted in the room and said, "Matt, if you don't turn that goddamn music down singing like a fucking Randy goddamn Travis, I'm gonna whip your fucking ass right here." And then I turned it off, and I played Kylie Minogue on my headphones and cried.
I think it was funnier in reality. Because it just sounded a little violent.
No, not with violent. My dad just yelled a little bit, but he barely spanked me. See, Brooke sent something on Instagram.
DM'd it, and I sent it to you, yeah.
About there is a Little Italy, because she said, "Is this real?" She's Italian and Italian-American. It was like, I didn't know there's a Little Italy in Oklahoma, and there is.
And Ardmore used to be called Little Chicago, apparently.
Well, they did,
yes.
I still don't. It really was. Ardmore really was called Little Chicago. Aunt Peggy and Aunt Darla said it. Then I looked because it was just wild. That Caddo Street was just wild as can be. Murders and everything. I think Ardmore is the murder capital again.
Can we move on?
Anyway,
so
no, we would go to choir concert in Durant in southeastern Oklahoma, and that's the part of the state. It's a very sordid history of Italian immigrants from northern Italy, But there is a lot of people. So we would go to
Italian origin.
There's big towns, McAllister. And that's the big town, but it's Krebs is the little Italy town. And Rosanna's, if it's still there, Rosanna's is the one. That is some of the best fucking lasagna I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. Who knew there was an Italian community in southeastern Oklahoma?
It's really reminded me, and Sissy Brooke, thank you for the reminders.
I thought this was the end.
We did have a little bit of Little Italy in Ardmore because we forgot, because we used to go to a restaurant. Remember how I talked about the Mexican restaurant, the Tex-Mex restaurant we went to was Raquel's. That's the one we went to as a kid all the time. That was right across from Dale's Market, but it's all closed
right across from Dale's Market, yes.
We would go to Papa Terry's for Italian food because Terry Delano owned the Italian restaurant.
That sounds like an Italian name.
And his family was from southeastern Oklahoma, and he moved over to Ardmore. So we would go to
it was
Papa
very
Terry.
authentic.
I remember. I love the fettuccine Alfredo. So with chicken, because that's an Italian, delicacy.
Yeah.
But no,
very, very Italian.
We did, and then Terry owned the restaurant, and then his wife was Mary, and then my brother he was in the same grade as their two daughters who were twins, Sherry and Carrie Delano.
Of course they were.
So I thought it was Terry, it was Mary, it was Sherry. Terry. Yeah, it was Terry and Mary, Sherry and Carrie.
Don't do this to your children.
No, and then but they had a son.
Family becomes a joke.
They had a son,
Larry.
Jason. His name is Jason. So it was very, they went different. Jason Delano. He was cute. But anyway, so there's Red and Papa. And then
Please end this.
He had a heart attack early and died. And so they closed the restaurant. And so it hadn't been open in years. But I called my sister cousin because I remembered, because I thought, Sherry and Carrie were twins. And they always.
To be clear, your cousin you grew up with, that you call your sister cousin, this is not a hyphenate.
No, because she's old, but they were always together. They wore matching outfits. They would do the thing a lot of times.
With
like
the Delano twins?
Yeah, Carrie and Sherry Delano. And they'd put the hair, like their hair, the tie, like one would wear a ponytail on the left side of her head and the other one would wear it on the right side of her head. But they were totally identical twins and inseparable. Well, I thought I told you this before because...
No.
Because, Sherry and Carrie inseparable. And then I think it was right after COVID, Carrie died, just had a fluke thing, and just her twin sister, she was grieving all over Facebook. What am I going to do with my sister? It was horrible because she died so quickly. But when I called my sister cousin, I didn't know this, and I'd eaten there, but I didn't realize that there was a restaurant that opened in Ardmore, like in 2018, Duos or whatever. I think it was whatever Italian is. And that was Sherry and Carrie's Italian restaurant. And they were doing their dad, Papa Terry's recipes. And I'd eaten there, but I never knew it was Papa Terry's. Well, it closed. It was before COVID because it closed in COVID. But my sister cousin said that, I forget which one died, Sherry or Carrie Delano.
It doesn't matter.
But Sherry is opening a restaurant. I said, oh, so they're reopening Duos. And she said, no, it's called Uno's. What?
Because she's dead. Because her twin sister's dead. The one she lived her whole life with.